This podcast contains real stories, adult language, and occasional chaos. Some content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised, especially if you're easily offended, overly nostalgic, or still living in a dorm.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dorm Disorder. Of course, this is a continuation of last week's episode, but don't forget, we're going to like, subscribe, follow, definitely subscribe part, particularly on the YouTube app, but everywhere else too. We're on Apple Music, not on Spotify. I will fix that. Listen notes, anywhere else you can get your podcast, Audible, Amazon Music. Nice. We're out all over those places. Again, I'm your host, Mike, and we're still here with Dan Glorious.
What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back.
And Atiyah Harmon.
Hello.
So we're going to start off on a new direction, and we did not do this last episode, but we need to know your dorm disorder tale.
Yeah, so we have a couple, and I think I alluded to it in the last episode. Our class is very strategic about our disruptions.
Fuckery. Let's call it. Well, we're not using that word, but no, we're gonna let it in there.
Yeah,
every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, we were very strategic about the ways we challenged the systems. So, our primary dorm disorder was. So you would hear the crack of Miss Simmons' door, when she went in at like 10:30. It was like scene. You go turn the music on, you go start doing your hair, you get back in the shower, you go find your friends, and you just start living again. And then, we're just talking, or your boyfriend, you singing your songs, we in there singing, Escape, SWB, all the things. And she would creep and catch us and scare the living shit out of her. And we would be like, oh, she didn't do it a lot though. Like you had to know your tone, your temperament, even like the location of what you did the dorm disorder. So you couldn't do it close to the doors. You had to be in the middle or towards the end. So the people who were at the far end, Sim's apartment was at the back door. So if you had to go further down to have your dorm disorder. Otherwise, you had to whisper.
Just asking for it.
Don't put yourself in danger. Because then you're going to get us all in trouble because then she's going to be there, right? Or it was an early indicator for us. But we also would, when you knew you were having dorm disorder and it was the risk, you would make your, just like Ferris Bueller, you would have enough stuff in your bed so it would look like you were still in there if she did a walkthrough.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah. Strategic ass.
Yes.
But I would say one of the most severe was, it was in between 10th and 12th grade year. It started off, I want to say, as a water fight and turned into a shoe fight.
A shoe fight?
Like uniform shoes, those black. It was water, it was shoes. I don't know if it was diabolical. And it was intense. That was probably that. I didn't mention it last time, but we were in merchant. I don't know if it was a girl thing or whoever. Blue shirts, blue shirts were like gold standard. You always wanted a blue shirt.
Really? I did not know this.
Blue shirts were like the thing to have.
Why is that?
Because nobody had them.
Okay.
Limited edition. Like when you got your blue shirt, you actually didn't used to turn that back into laundry
you
a lot.
Just keep
you
the
would
wash
take it
that
home.
one.
Yeah. But our laundry, 7th grade, we would line up at like 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And just be, but for why? What was the point?
I don't know.
But it was the thing, right? It was like, we got to get in line to get to laundry. But I just thought about that. But yeah, dorm disorder, a lot of it in 8th grade when we had, Banker was not because it was just, that was like the barracks, right?
It was a big old bay.
So the way our rooms were and all that, my room, I think I was in, it was like 311 and 313. I want to say 311, but that's weird that I don't remember that.
That is weird that you remember that.
I remember so much stuff. I want to say maybe 312. Who knows? Princess and all the people, 98. I'm sorry, y'all. But whatever dorm I was in, every night for probably like 3 months straight, we sang Tonight by Escape. And that is still one of my comfort songs to this day. I can play that song now, and it's just like we would be harmonizing, and I think she should take lead. Where were we performing this? We don't know. Maybe the talent show. It never got to actual stage, but we practiced every night. Mm-hmm.
That is dope. That is dope. Here, I'm just thinking, like, you did remind me of the only thing fun I used to do, like, when we were in Banker, because we also had that same room, and we would have, like, pillow fights. And I don't know why, because those pillows, remember how hard and covered in plastic they were? Yeah, you could jack somebody up with them pillows pretty good.
Cut them.
Yeah, and it would turn into real fights. Real fights happened because of pillow fights in Banker Hall.
People with plastic.
Yo, you could, like, if you get hit in the eye, you probably lose that joint. Like, it was bad.
You need to have, like, Banker, like, badass stories. Like, Banker was, like, when we were there also, we would turn the water on. Like, let's say as soon as you come, like, you could start showering.
Yeah.
We would run the water in, like, 3 sinks while everybody was showering. So the water would be warm enough, not boiling, but warm enough to cook our oodles and noodles. Like, otherwise, like, it would just run, or, like, but you would sometimes have your noodles there, but, you know, you couldn't have too much water or soggy. There was a whole...
Yeah. There's some old prison thing going on right now. Because...
Gang. But that's how we did noodles. That water was just, we didn't have no microwave up there, right? No,
there was no microwave.
You just had to, that water used to run. And it wasn't ever boiling, but it was edible.
Those Banker bedrooms were wide open.
Wide open.
And y'all just reminded me, like, one night, for some reason, we just started smacking people on the forehead, like, slap, slap, and then just run into the bed. And then eventually that turned into, like, full-fledged slap across the face. So somebody was asleep, somebody would come over, and I was just telling my kids this story and just slapped the shit out of something. It was so loud, it echoed, and then you would drop and roll under their bed. So they would get up, and people would, like, they were looking around like, who the hell just slapped me? And people are cracking up. And because the beds, there was no dividers.
No. There was dividers.
Yeah,
it was like a four-way
like
divider.
Thing,
because it would be 4 beds together, but at the head of each bed, you were cut off. It was a little divider, so you couldn't, like, even if they was in the bed next to you, you wouldn't see them.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's man, it was just drop and roll. Like, it's just waking up. A handprint on your cheek. And that goes back to what last episode, man. You cannot
be the first person to go to sleep. You can't,
because they're going to get you.
And I think that shows different types of play versus gender, as I'm the first woman on here. Like, ours was like, let's do our hair and makeup and talk about things and
y'all throwing shoes.
I mean, we did that. But, I mean, that was different. That was like one off. But it was also like, y'all stuff always was violent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, ours was just for like hangout stuff.
It usually turned violent.
Turned violent. Almost
it didn't start out that way.
It turned violent.
Yeah. Ours usually was like, we need to finish up what we didn't do. But yeah, we had like a whole like gang, like PT was the gang. I remember I was in a gang with them, like in 7th grade, we had a little PT gang, and then like other things. Like our class, we just were like trolls. Like that's the thing, like we troll each other, and we still do. We had like songs about like Shay of Vinegar. We talk like call certain people duff, like just crazy shit. But it was like this guy, Jason, he started in 9th grade. Our class, I think, was the years where they started letting kids in. 7th, then 8th, then 9th.
No, I was actually our class.
Yeah, it was your class?
We actually had the first 9th grader come in our class. It was weird because it used to be cut off at 7th. But then we had an 8th grader, which was weird, and then we got a 9th grader.
Yep. So we did the same thing. My undergrad and first master's are in human development and family studies.
Okay. So how'd you get into math?
It was just always there. I didn't not like math. And I was a social sciences major, meaning I truly am a social scientist. I did a lot of research. Mm-hmm. So statistics, SPSS, SAS, I did the research part of the social sciences. Mm-hmm. I did public health research overseas. I was blessed with the opportunity to go to Paris and Dakar, Senegal during undergrad. I was a strong math student, but didn't want to go the traditional like math career route, and didn't realize how much math that I just loved. When I went to graduate school, I actually came back to work at Girard. I went to Penn. And
okay.
We're not really feeling Penn right now, and I want to make that very clear. Yeah.
Capitulation much?
I mean, they took away the Sadie T. Alexander scholarship. That's crazy, right? For Black lawyers, I ain't fucking with that. I'm sorry. But I would start teaching. I started tutoring on the weekends, sixth graders in math, and our Girard girls, it was like a transition. They would cry. So during study, I would help them a lot. And the Saturday, kids like, I wish you were our math teacher. It's just like alternative to teaching thing I applied for, got in. I did it fully in New York, fully needed to know your answer right away. And I started teaching gym actually.
Okay.
And I was a track coach, I ran track at Girard, then I was coached at Girard. So I was like, okay, but it wasn't like gym's cool, but I'm a nerd. And then I was like, whatever. Long story short, I got into middle school math and I was like, well, I know math. I just need to reteach myself.
Right.
But realizing when you know math well, to teach it doesn't always translate the same. So I had like my special education teachers, like, you teach too fast. You did it. So I had to like look at it from the genesis to and that's what made me, I think, a really strong math teacher.
So what about the teachers at Girard? What kind of impact did they have on you?
Who, like, all of them?
No. I'm talking about the math teachers in particular.
Martino was my favorite, and he was my track coach. My favorite, and Fisher, can't ever not say Fish. But Martino, because we did foil. Yeah. I remember my seat in Martino's class. Like, I was in third row, like the third seat. Like, I always knew I could figure out that like plus minus 3. Like, I loved foil. Like, I bust foil down. Like, that was like I loved foil. That's such a nerd thing to say. I loved foil. But and then we had Fish, and for algebra, he took sabbatical, so we had that whatever geometry. I told you how I hated Thompson. He was not Jerry Seinfeld, and he wanted to be so badly. And then we had Fish senior year. And I was on the border of being qualified for honors math. And he gave me the option, who would give a senior the option. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to just do honors French. And that's my math story.
Okay.
At Girard.
I get the Thompson part a little bit, because Thompson is the only math teacher I ever got detention from for falling asleep in his class. But here's the problem. I had mono. I couldn't stay awake. I would go to the infirmary like all the time. Like, yo, there's something wrong with me, and I can't stay awake. Yeah, he just give me detention.
One of his questions, I think that probably pissed me off the most, was that we had to finish the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner. We don't sing the Star Spangled Banner at Girard. Not that I remember. How the hell else would I know that? I'm not that patriotic that I'm singing it at home. Why would I know the lyrics to the Star? Oh, like, clearly loathed.
And what does that have to do with math?
It was just like prick. Can I say prick? Prick?
Yes, you can say it. Yeah, absolutely. So you coached at Girard, you ran track. What was that like, running track and doing things like that?
Fun. Kiana Mack, shout out to her. She was
fast as fuck.
Kiana Mack,
she was fast.
Yeah,
she was fast.
She was my buddy my first day, and then I was number 2, she was number 3. So on a relay team. So me and Kiana, I actually was at Kiana's house this morning. No lie. Very close. So track, when we were there, they didn't have a large enough team, especially for indoor, like girls indoor and boys indoor. We didn't have enough small team. Right. So we would go with the boys and we would whip their ass. Okay. And we would run, like, they're like freshman boys and stuff. So of course, like, not only are they being clown because they're like they're younger, but it was like 4 or 5 of us would go on the weekends. And, Girard didn't really have a good track, but Martino put me on the varsity team in 8th grade. So I ran with Tasha Goodman and Lynn, so I ran like 4x1 with them at times, and Stephanie Ruffin, all of them. And then like, that's when we used to practice behind Founders. And then as Lynn was strong, she was going to states, and we were like winning districts and things. So probably one of our like pin relays was the thing to be in. Oh yeah. Right. That was, we couldn't wait for pin relays. Everybody. And it was a thing. Girls ran Thursday, but if you were good and you passed your heat and your time was good, you came back Friday for like the finals. So, when me and Kiana were seniors, we were coming back Friday for the finals, just to be clear. And I will say this with all the things. June 1998, we were at state champions. So we were District 1 champions, like twice for the 4x1. Right. Tanisha has a new last name now. Atiyah Harmon, Kiana Mack, Myra Dobie. We broke 50. Our time in Shippensburg was 49.75.
Wow. Nice.
We were number 2 in the state, AA, silver medals. We are in no sports hall of fame.
I was
I
going to
don't
bring
think
that up
anybody
today.
broke 50. Diamond and Leon, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any girls 4x1 broke 50. And I don't know why that's not immortalized, because we can still find the data. And Leak was our coach.
That's funny. That's going to bring me towards the end of what I got to say at this episode. So that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, so that's awesome. Why was y'all so happy to go to Penn Relays, though? Besides the running.
Why not? Everybody was there. Everybody from the world across the globe, right? So especially Saturday is like USA versus the world.
Yeah.
But states is where we went to see. States and districts is where we were able to interact with like the Glen Mills guys and all that. That they weren't always allowed, and good girls always like bad guys.
It don't
So
show.
it was a party at states we looked forward to because the boys was able to come, and strategic Girard students will be strategic wherever we are. So we were making sure we knew who could go with what boy when and how we could be in the corner with the guys who never are allowed to be around girls, even at track meets.
Yeah.
But we would get their addresses and send them letters and stuff. Yeah, we love the Glen Mills boys.
They was horrible. They was just bad. They assholes.
Oh.
Ron called y'all not assholes. Y'all are definitely assholes.
Yeah, Ron only
Good,
knew the
in a good
baseball
way.
team. Ron only knew the people on the baseball team.
Yeah. In a good way.
Rammer?
Yeah.
Who's Chris?
Don't know.
Okay, well, Chris was one of my, Chris and Brock, right? Like, they were, my mom had it until, they did a piece of art that I, took. Mm-hmm. And I still had, my mom still had it at the house. So, yeah.
That's awesome. He would definitely love to know about that.
Yeah, I can see if I can find it somewhere. But
yeah, he'll see this episode.
Oh, yeah. I'll send a picture. But, yeah.
So we touched on it a little bit, but I want to spend a lot of time on what you are doing. And if you won't, all you guys can see, we got a nice, beautiful Black Girls Love Math keychain, which is good because mine is falling apart. So that definitely will be the new replacement. So how did you come up with this, and where are we with it today?
Okay. So Black Girls Love Math was birthed in Brooklyn, Best Eye. The name came December 2019 after a conversation around my frustration in schools. I'm like 20 plus year K-12 educator, principal, all the things. It's like the girls know the math, and then it becomes cool not to know it. And I'm a middle school person. And I'm like, why is that? And my very close friend, former board chair, was like, you need to do something. Black Girls Love Math. And I literally was like, That was winter break. We had a lot of wine, all the things. I woke up in the middle of the night and just I had wrote it in my same iPad I have. And I searched the hashtag and it was fewer than 100 posts. And I was like, And then I Googled it, and then I just did a 2-hour brain dump. Fast forward February, I told a close friend, and he was like, let's do it. You should get your brand identity first. I was like, well, how much does it cost? He gave me some estimates. April told somebody else, June 20th, 2020 is my mom's birthday. My final mentor, I need a final stamp of approval. Right. And he was like, absolutely no brainer. You want to give back? That's good. Incorporate now. And I'm like, well, he's like, do it now. And I did it in New York, but did it for PA. Right. And then came home and celebrated my mom's birthday. Fast forward, we turned 5 this June. This year, we started our programming at Girard, which was a complete full circle moment. Actually, just had a conversation with Girard last week. They're continuing their partnership and adding more grades, and we're going to demarcate it where we do tutoring for co-ed, but our actual enrichment and intention, so we won't lose our mission, is for girls only. Right. So we'll be doing a dual service there. It's a labor of love. We're in Brooklyn, Philly, the greater areas. We do weekend programming, after school programming. We've done teacher development. It's basically, you can like math and still be cool, or still have fun, and it doesn't have to be, this formula. Okay. They
don't have to love foil as much as you do.
But if you did, I would understand. But yeah, just making it where we're kind of demystifying the fear and the identity about what does it look like to be a person who loves math. So our target is this group, but it's for all people.
So one of the things we talked about, I work in the financial sector, but I do IT work. And how even at my company, which is pretty doggone diverse, but the technology sector is overwhelmingly white male. In the developer space. Let me be very clear. In the developer space, it's very overwhelmingly that. And there are very few, there are few women, but even less women of color in the technology sector at all. What do you think that the impacts of programs like this will have for young girls of color moving forward?
Yeah, that's all about our work, especially as we are now 5. Our theme is See Her in STEM, right? So part of our programming every week, we do a weekly shiro. Age-old question, why do I need to learn this, right? We said that in every math class. Well, easiest one I always talk about, of course, Katherine Johnson sent us to the moon. Hello.
Right.
But also, look at Sarah, like, who plays games? Sarah Bond is the president of Xbox. She has to use math. Look at this video game developer. Look at this person. Look at this cosmetic engineer thinking about perfumes.
Right.
That is all math. That's chemistry. That's all these things to make it make sense to them. Because, like I said, when I was in, I'm like, man, don't try me no accounting. I'm like, all right, no, I ain't going to do math. Right. But like, because we didn't know what else there was, but their representation. So hopefully, like, our mission is to exponentially increase the number of Black girls in STEM. How do you do that? By showing them you're a fearless learner. You can do hard things, you work together, and you can seek possibility and feel confident. Change the game. AI, innovation, add whatever you want to do.
Right.
Teach me something I don't know, because I don't know this stuff. I just want you to feel safe enough in a space to explore it.
Where do you think the miss was? Like, growing up, like, where that came from? Like, girls not
Racism,
liking math.
sexism.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to have your cherry pies ready, right? At 4 p.m. for supper. Right? Like, Hidden Figures didn't come out till like 2016. That was, when did we go to the moon? 1969. Like, that wasn't, why would you want to do that if we think about the way our economy was? Like, that was a thing, right? There was a set of computers, human people doing the work at NASA. And the other parts of the Hidden Figure that you don't talk about, like Dorothy Vaughan and Mary Jackson, they start training Black women to become computers. But I think it was, these male egos sometimes are very fragile, or just the way the outward perception is. Like Gladys West, Black woman, invented GPS. Black woman invented caller ID. Who the hell just calling me, right? That's all that we need to know. But I think there was, honestly, I think it was access. Access, and like, as you were talking about it, and I'm like, okay, what do we know about socioeconomic status? What do we know about schooling? What do we know about computers? What do we, like, Bill Gates and Tim Cook and Steve Jobs, they could be tinkling on a computer. I gotta go to work. I'm on a computer. Like, it's just literally access. So if we give everyone the same access, here's a laptop. That's why, like, the world now with AI and internet, it opens a space more of collaboration and exposure. And I think that was like the biggest barrier, was just literally access. I mean, representation as well, but access, I think, was the biggest barrier.
That was a good one.
I know. It was.
You got some events going on, and you have been chosen to be a part of certain groups that I want to highlight those two things.
Okay.
What's the Black Girls Love Math Gala?
November 1st, 2025 at Founders Hall.
At Founders
It
Hall.
is confirmed. Location is our 5th year gala, masquerade ball themed.
So we got an invite?
Absolutely.
All right.
And if you broadcast live from the Founders, we might get you a press pass. Just just saying, just come in your suit and tie.
I think Dorm Disorder might have to go live.
Right. Nah, so that's exciting. We're in the planning phases of that. But I want the columns to be purple, like we were the prom. Like, I was just like, it has to be full circle at Girard. Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. Every year we give out scholarships, we give laptops, because who wants to go to school with a Chromebook, regardless of where you come?
Right.
When you step on a college campus, you need a Mac. You don't, right? Yep. Or aesthetics.
Please stop giving these kids Macs.
No, keep giving it to
them. Don't give these kids Macs. They get to real business, and they got a Windows machine, and they are clueless. And I can't teach you how to computer.
So I agree. I had I am a Mac. I had like the i3, like 2004, 2005. Like I had the black Mac, like all of them. But I worked for at a place that used Windows, and I'm like, I'm Google software, Apple hardware. I almost quit that job for the first month because of Windows and this bullshit.
Well,
SharePoint and all. Like, you are wasting my time. Like, I get it for security reasons, for certain.
It has nothing to do with that. That's just that is the operating system of business. And until
well, in certain sectors like schools, they use Google Suite a lot.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so for me, being from schools to now have to use that, it was like, this don't even make sense.
Okay, but I'm
It's
just saying.
clunky. You will say one thing Apple has perfected is smoothness of like you can argue a
serving
lot
justice.
of things, just like simple A to B. Microsoft does not go A to B, and I don't care if you're short circuited or not.
Trust me, it all doesn't go A to B. It's just all. It's all. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just having a moment.
From like UX experience, from me.
I'm just
I'll say
talking
for me,
about
for
the
Atiyah.
regular people using the regular computers. Yeah, they're all the same to me. But yes.
Yeah, I get you, but I get it.
Okay.
I do not like Windows platform, as you can see. I just was like, no.
What about the Mayor's Education Council? What are you doing there?
So I was appointed January 2024. Right, this is 2025.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
It's
it'd be
time
moving
anymore.
quick.
To the educated nominating panel for the school district of Philadelphia, like the board who manages the superintendent and all that. So that was an experience. I didn't really know how they found me, but I realized I started to become more active in different policy like events and things. But we were just kind of like the mayor's first her first edits. So
Okay.
we had to appoint 27 people from all the applications and process. We had like a whole system that we use, like, group group, like voting.
Yeah.
If you wanted to advocate for someone specific. And we gave her the first right of here are the 27 names we're putting forth. Her team chose the 9 they wanted to put forth, and they all had to be approved by city council. Can I do a Girard shout out from that?
Absolutely.
Crystal Covich, she was a chemistry teacher.
Nice.
She's on the board. And I recused myself from everything. But and Miss Covich is probably one of the most qualified people on that board, who is very 10 toes down for the kids, for the community, for Philly. So
Fantastic.
But I got a D in her class, and I had to go to the Walk of Shame group study. That was because of her class.
You had to go to dummy study because of that?
The Walk of Shame, right? I had to cross Founders Hall over my first thing senior year. Oh my God, I was in hell. But yeah.
We are short on time, but I am going to bring up dummy study in a future episode.
You can't say dummy study.
It's dummy study. That's what it was. And then we had super dummy study. So that was the ones study was an hour and a half long from 8 or from 7:30 to 9 or see, I can't do math. 7:30 to 9. But if you had below a 2.0, you had to stay another half hour. Super dummy study.
But did you teach them how to study, or you just made them sit there?
You just made them sit there.
So they were still
Nobody actually helped these kids do anything.
No.
So we're going to move to the ending of this show. And first and foremost, we want to thank you.
Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Absolutely
Thank you.
gracing this
Thank you.
studio. We really appreciate it. We needed
Thank
this
you.
probably sooner than we did.
Yeah.
That female touch really brought some important topics and issues to light. So really appreciate it.
And questions. She had questions for us. It's
I
for me
know.
specifically, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm a questioner. I'm curious about all things.
Nah, it's cool.
Social
It's cool.
scientist.
It's all good.
So we like to end this with our little thank yous, farewells, apologies, or till our hearts be still. Dan, what have you got for us this week?
Well, I've been keeping this one in my back pocket, but we need to apologize. I cannot say the teacher's name, but she was the life skills teacher after the orange one had left the school. And I think it was my senior year. They took us to an apple orchard because she was going to show us how to make apple pancakes. And it was, the idea was fantastic, but taking us to an apple orchard was probably one of the worst things she could have done. Because after we picked 4 or 5 apples,
Y'all started checking them.
We started throwing them across the bushels, throwing them underneath the trees, hitting people in the ankles. And if people got caught in the crossfire, it just happened. Like, this is an open apple orchard. There's families there that are picking their own apples. There's little old ladies making their apple pies, right? So there's just, it was just chaos. So we get kicked off the apple orchard. But that's not where my apology is coming in. My apology comes in on the bus ride back. For some reason, I had to sit next to the teacher who was sitting by the window, and I was sitting in the aisle seat. And me and one of my friends got into a little tussle, throwing things at each other. And he peeled off the bologna from his sandwich and threw it across the aisle. I sat back, right on the teacher's face. And the funny thing about it was, it slowly peeled off her cheek, and she kind of just sat there and just let it happen. And I just could not stop laughing. So I just want to apologize for us, being the assholes that we were, and for moving out of the way and letting that baloney hit her instead of me. So I apologize.
So I'm glad that Tia brought it up, but I got a new thing. What grinds my gears? You know what grinds my gears? People that are not recognized because somebody just didn't write something down. And you brought up an important point about how there is some amazing young female track stars that all these people are in the Hall of Fame for doing sports, but there's a lot of people who are just missing. And I'm going to say that these young women, and there's 6 people I'm going to name, and I'm one of them. So I'm myself, Carrie Porter, Will Reed, Hensley Kanzler, Neil McNair, and Stuber.
I agree.
We were the wrestling team for a very large period of years. Now, we didn't win team matches because we just didn't have the numbers. But I was 14-3 in my senior year. I lost 3 matches. One guy that I lost to won states, Henderson. The other guy was the guy that he beat, Matt Mount. And the other guy was just a rando because I had one bad day. It took second place in a tournament. But there are some athletes at Girard that were completely lost. People that did great things in sports in Girard that are just lost. So that's my piece for this week. Y'all do better.
I am going to do it till our hearts be still. It's August and we're recording this. So Medina Johnson, she and I were close. Ms. Mulligan, we actually used to model for a couple years together. Medina kept going with it and I didn't. So we miss her. Darina Najee, Nicole Watkins, and I'm going to say Miss Simmons and Mr. Leak, specifically because I kept in touch with them until they both transitioned. Like that was my grandma and Leak was my surrogate dad. Like I saw him that January before. Like I talked to him on his birthday and Bitch called me the next day and I just was not okay. So yeah.
Till our hearts be still. Thank you so much. All right. So that will end our episode of Dorm Disorder this week. Again, Tia, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, pass it to your friends. Absolutely. And the mailbag is open, dormdisorder@gmail.com.
You know how we do. Peace out. Slap the shit out of something. It was so loud, it echoed.